Hello and good afternoon to everyone. I'm Arnob Chakrabarty, a member of Working Group 4. My research topic was assessment of emergency evacuation preparedness for seismic hazard in an urban area, and I was supervised by Mr. Mohammad Mizanur Rahman, assistant professor, Jahangir University. So, first of all, the background of the study. So it is known to all of us that earthquake is one of the most devastating natural disasters because of its unpredictability and its power of destructibility. And in case of large cities, the destruction power of the earthquake is even higher because of the high level of people living there. So keeping this in mind, Dhaka is also a big city, but it has problems. According to the draft Dhaka structure plan, critical public facilities are absent in Dhaka city, and city authorities are ill prepared to face a high intensity earthquake event. The map shown in the left side also shows that the land cover changed over the years. So the orange color shows the build-up area starting to cover most of the area of the Dhaka city. So we have already have most of the area built up, and we are there is the absence of critical public facilities, and city authorities are ill prepared. Based on this, there are two research questions of my research. The first one is, what is the people's perception on emergency evacuation preparedness, and what is the quality of emergency evacuation infrastructure? Based on these research questions, I have two research objectives. First one is to assess the level of earthquake risk awareness and earthquake evacuation knowledge by the people of different socioeconomic background, and to find out the availability and carrying capacity of emergency evacuation places in the study area. For the study area, I have chosen Ward 30 of Dhaka North City Corporation. It has an area of 2.47 square kilometer with a population household of 45,000, and the literacy rate is 66.7%. And the study area characteristics shows us that it is a highly residential area, and it is all of the structures are less than 30 years old, and most structures are made of brick and concrete. The maps given here from left to right shows the three characteristics of the study area. And the selection criteria of the study area was based on the given evaluation criteria. For example, house number, year of major development, mixedness of planned and unplanned area, availability of open space, maximum availability of functional classification, and maximum amount of mixed use. And for this research, the required data set includes demography of the residents, emergency evacuation preparedness components, availability of open space, availability of temporary evacuation shelter locations, and service area covered by the temporary evacuation shelters. Here we can see the methodology flowchart. So first of all, the identification of emergency evacuation factors were done by literature review and the existing data review. This was in the data review session. And the second phase was the questionnaire preparation for people's perception of emergency evacuation and open space and temporary evacuation shelter identification. These were done through questionnaire survey and field survey. And in the data analysis phase, the earthquake risk knowledge, earthquake evacuation knowledge, monetary capability, provisions of elderly disabled, and service area population ratio and service area characteristics were done through questionnaire data analysis and data analysis using ArcGIS. And based on all this, the cross-cutting issues were found out between the evacuation shelters and evacuation perception, and thus the final output was made. Now, the sample size for my research was 383 with 95% confidence level, and the sampling method was purposive sampling. The area was divided into 400 by 400 meter grids, which is the average distance covered by a 5-minute walk, and the data was collected from each grid. For temporary evacuation shelters, educational facilities built after 1993, which limits the age of structures under 27, and which are expected to follow the Bangladesh National Building Code of 1993, were selected. And for service area characteristics, locational distances from medical centers were chosen, and the shortest path to the temporary evacuation shelters were selected. So now I move into the data analysis part. So the demographic data from the questionnaire survey are taken as age range, the education level, and gender. So in the study area, the age range of 20 to 49 is 64.49%. The education level of HSC and higher is 65.50%, and male and female ratio is 53 and 47%. If we look at the data from BBS, Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics, for 2011, the age range was from 20 to 49 years for Dhaka was 53.46. Education of Dhaka was 36, of HSC and higher for Dhaka was 36.08. And the gender ratio in Dhaka was male 54%, female 46%. So the demography matches the scenario of the whole Dhaka city. And for the occupation of the responders, the occupation is varied from student to private and public service holders, retired, and housewives also. The monthly family income of the responders vary from less than 10,000 taka per month to more than 70,000 taka per month. And the most common was the salary range of 26,000 to 40,000 taka and 41,000 to 55,000 taka. So average income of the household in Dhaka, according to UNDP, is 55,000. And also the family size of the research area was 4 per family, which is the highest ratio. And for household size in Dhaka is 4.3. So demographic data matches with the existing available data. Based on these criteria, emergency evacuation preparedness score was prepared. So the emergency evacuation preparedness score is based on 5 main indicators, and under the main 5 indicators, there are 5 sub-indicators. The main 5 indicators are earthquake risk awareness, emergency evacuation knowledge, provision for elderly disabled, the vulnerability of structures, and self-protection ability. Under the 5 variables, there are 5 sub-variables, and each 5 sub-variables creates a continuous scale ranging from 0 to 5, which gives the total score under each variable. So for earthquake risk awareness, the total score is 2.36 out of 5. For emergency evacuation knowledge, the total score is 2.23 out of 5. The provision of elderly or disabled, the total score is 0.4 out of 5. For vulnerability of structures, the total score is 1.95 out of 5. And for self-protection ability, the total score is 1.86 out of 5. So it can be seen that the scores are low for almost each emergency evacuation preparedness indicators. Now I move into the location of temporary evacuation shelters. The temporary evacuation shelters covers mostly the west part, some part of the north, and some of the east part of the total ward area. And the carrying capacity of each temporary shelters are shown in this map. So only in total 3,560 persons out of 1.8 million persons living in the Ward 30 can be served by the total temporary shelters. And the highest carrying capacity of a temporary evacuation shelter is 621, and the lowest one is the 17. So this can be seen that the carrying capacity is not at all serviceable. And lastly, the availability of hospitals. The Ward 30 has 3 hospitals which are located in the boundary area of the wards, and this is also a location consideration for temporary evacuation shelters. And now I move into the service area characteristics of the temporary evacuation shelters. So as from the map, it can be seen that a service area covers west part, some part of the north, and some part of the east of the total ward. And the interesting fact is the temporary evacuation shelter location covers most of the poor parts of the ward, and there are clustering of the shelters. And also there is lack of coverage in areas which people of high socioeconomic status live. And so ultimately the outcome of the study is every emergency evacuation preparedness indicators showed poor performance of the residents, and the elderly and disabled are at the worst point of the evacuation preparedness. The carrying capacity of the temporary evacuation shelter is very low, only 1.9% of the total population can be served. And the temporary evacuation shelters are in a clustered formation inside the study area, and it excludes most of the residents of socioeconomically better off people. So this was my presentation. Thank you so much for being with us.